Hi, welcome back to the Heritage Home Podcast. Today, I want to talk about what exactly is a homemaker, how to pursue a career while you're waiting to be a homemaker, if you're single now, or if you're dating or married even, and want that step later in life. But for now, you have to work for whatever the circumstance may be. I want to talk about how you can navigate that while still pursuing the desire of being a homemaker. So, welcome home. What exactly is a homemaker? If you've seen on Instagram or Facebook, you may have seen some young woman wearing a 1950s style dress with an apron, or even someone who looks more of modern day, but they have a farmhouse style dress, living on a lot of land, greet their husband when they come home, take care of the house, making all their food and meals from scratch, like scratch, scratch beyond. Like if you're making a chicken pot pie, you're killing the chicken. If you're making bread, you've seen the sourdough trends of making bread from scratch. Those are kind of things that we think of when we hear the word homemaker. But in reality, there are millions of women who will claim the title as homemaker. I don't know about millions, but at least hundreds of thousands of women who will claim the title as homemaker who may not fall into one of those two categories. They are living in a city or in the suburbs. They don't wear dresses every single day. They don't put on a full face of makeup or some of those kind of caricaturized styles of a homemaker. They are just everyday moms, everyday wives. And not to discount those women who choose to have that persona accompanied by the title of homemaker, but realistically, most homemakers aren't going to portray themselves in that way. And I think it's really important to understand that, because if we are calling, especially in this cultural shift, this move, this revival towards conservatism, towards traditional values, if we want to have people embody that lifestyle and enjoy the fulfillment, the fullness of that abundant life on earth, then we have to be honest about what that actually looks like. If I see online, oh, I want to be a homemaker, I like that title, I want to be a homemaker, but I see that this is what I have to do to acquire that, it's kind of off-putting. And again, not to discount those women, they can portray it in however way they like, and they also have a title of homemaker. But I guess what I'm trying to say is homemaker comes in all shapes and sizes. It comes in all different environments, all different places around the US, around the world. And I just want to open up a lens into how young women who are entering the career force, who are young professionals, who want to be a homemaker one day and aspire to be that, how can they go from point A to B? Right now, it seems super distant, having to jump all those hoops and become this, again, almost caricaturized version of a homemaker. But in reality, you can be a homemaker now. A homemaker comes down to a few key items. One, like I talked about in my last video, cultivating traditions. What traditions make you happy and excited to pass down to your children one day? This could be literally anything. How you treat your home to make it a warm and inviting space. Do you have game nights? Do you host dinners? Do you invite people in? Curating just heirlooms, making, and I know I talk about a lot of this from a place of my design style, which is very antique, very vintage, but having a home, it really comes down to whatever it means to make a house a home. A house is a place, is a structure where you lay your head at night and you get up and get prepared to go out in the world, and that's it. A home is a place that enables you and empowers you to go out in the world and do work. For men who are married, a home, if your wife is able to tend and cultivate a home, she is allowing you to come home, rest, be recharged, be rejuvenated, be refueled, and then go back in the world and do what it is that you do, and do it to the best of your ability. She's equipping you, she's enabling you. And for a woman, you in the home, or if you're a homemaker, are wanting to cultivate that space for your husband, for your children, and for yourself. There's a saying that if you're always pouring your cup out into people, you also need your cup to be poured into you. And I think a lot of times moms, homemakers, wives will tend so much to those around them and forget to take care of themselves. And that's where you see a lot of modern day, the counter of the homemaker in some ways is feminism. And you'll see a lot of times that comes out to, it's wine o'clock and they're drinking a bottle of wine every day, or complaining in public about your kids and your husband. That's so just ungodly. It's so rude. It's so callous. But at the root of it, you're not balancing taking care of yourself along with taking care of your husband, your children, your pets, and your home, and cultivating that space. And I can only speak to what I imagine that would be like. There are plenty of creators out there who are already in that space, already have, plans and guidelines and templates on Etsy, on YouTube, on Facebook of how to do those things and have that balance. And again, I'm not a teacher. I'm not in that space yet, so I can only speak to it from the perspective of preparation, of practicing now while you're single how to have a budget in the home, practicing now while you're single how to make a house a home in a cozy space, how to decorate, how to, this doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but how to utilize Amazon and Marshall's down the street to make your home a place that's conducive to having company over. It's while you're now single, portraying yourself in a way that is uplifting, that is modest, that is righteous. There's so many things you could be doing now while you're single to prepare for that home that you want to have. Why would you wait until that time comes and now you're panicking? There's a reel that I saw once where this lady on her wedding night, when she's driving away with her husband in the car, is yelling out the window, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do now. What do I cook? Am I just I'll make a roast." Like, practice cooking now. You have to cook anyway. You have to sustain yourself. You have to thrive. Okay, I don't know if you have to thrive, you have to survive. So instead of trying to survive, try to thrive. Learn how to cook meals. There are so many ready-to-go meal kits out there that are relatively affordable. All the companies out there that have the kits where you prepare meals, not just like the ready-made meals. Or just go to your local farmer's market, go to your local grocery store, and they have eating healthy and from scratch is actually extremely affordable. Getting ingredients and getting the fundamentals to then build and create a meal. What I like to do, I will make a meal every single day for maybe 2 weeks. And that way I make it fresh. I don't meal prep it. I don't make it in bulk. I make it one serving size, maybe like 2 serving sizes, so I want to have it for lunch the next day. Make it 1 to 2 serving sizes, and I cook it every single day for 2 weeks. And every day I can iterate on it. I can say, okay, this needs a little bit more salt at this step. It needs a little bit more of this seasoning at this step. I need to cook it longer so it renders in at this step. And I make that over and over again. And by the end of the 2 weeks, I have made a chef-crafted meal. I have gone and looked at YouTube videos and Instagram reels to see how other people make that same dish. I have tried it. I've had my friends try it. At the end, I make a really delicious dish that I can make for my family one day. I can continue to make for myself and make for friends. And that's something that you could be doing now while you're single when you don't have a whole family to provide for in that way. Super easy way to do that. Now, what we talked about earlier, being a homemaker, we see a lot of the very traditional dresses and modest wear. Do you have to wear a dress every day? No, you can adorn yourself in a respectful way that's not wearing a dress. Do I like to wear dresses? Yes, I wear dresses as much as possible to work, to the world. I think it's an easy way to separate myself out from other people. It shows just a little extra. I don't wear makeup. I don't get my nails done, but I wear a dress. It goes a little extra step above, shows I take care of myself, and for the most part, that is just a more elevated look. Now, if I were to wear jeans and a top, that could also have an elevated look. It doesn't mean you're run down or raggedy or anything. It just, a dress is a more formal wear. So if I wear jeans and a top, I also need to be respectful of my body and who's around me. If I'm wanting to aspire to be a homemaker, you have to present yourself to a spouse, a potential suitor, a prospect who would want to adopt you as their wife and have you show them, like, represent them in the world. That's at the end of the day what you're doing. Wives, you represent your husbands in the world. Husbands, you represent your wives in the world, to an extent. But if I'm over here wearing skin tight jeans where every man and woman and child can see the outline of my body, or if I'm wearing showing a lot of cleavage, not demure, not modest, and attracting all this unwanted attention, one, I'm calling others to lust over me, to sin, to stumble in that way as a Christian. shouldn't be doing that. And two, I am disrespecting my husband or relationship. I am showcasing myself out into the world. And again, does this mean you have to wear a burqa or a cloak or completely covered mask or something? No, it doesn't. It means respect yourself. When I am looking online, I see something even simple as the gym. When you're going to the gym, being a homemaker in modern day, you want to take care of yourself. There aren't a lot of female-only gyms out there, so you go to a co-ed gym. When you go to these gyms to work out, I'll see the woman wearing sports bra and shorts, like skin tight compression shorts, literally underwear, undergarments. These are things that we used to 20 years ago wear as undergarments to our clothes. Then you see men wearing t-shirts and singlets or shorts, fine, they're covered. You don't ever see the men wearing no top at all in the gym, like maybe outside running or something, but in the gym, very rarely do you see them wearing nothing at all. They don't have skin beyond their arms and legs showing. But women will have the outline of their entire body exposed, their compression shorts up into their butt crack, their midsection exposed. Who is this for? Like, even back in the day in the 70s, I can't even say back in the day it was better. In the 70s, even back then it was worse. And we can talk about all the reasons why the 70s were disruptive to the success of women and the productivity of women. But you see in those exercise videos in the 90s and 70s, they're wearing like the skin tight leggings and the unitards, and that was also bad. Like, you again showcasing the men then were wearing similar things too, so both sides were having issues with modesty. But today there are just so many other ways you could dress to go sweat. It doesn't need to require compressing your body and revealing it to everyone in that way. And yeah, there's so many ways you could practice preparation for being a homemaker now. You can prepare to be a homemaker now while you're single by doing things like that. Cultivating a home, honoring your body in public, honoring your word and your actions. In pursuing a career, you're in the workforce, you're in the workspace, you work with believers, you work with non-believers, you work with a variety of different people. How do you set yourself apart from that space? Preparing to be a homemaker also means looking to find a husband who is in alignment with that. How you portray yourself in the world matters. How you dress, going back to modesty, that matters. Typically, men who want homemakers, and not just men who want homemakers, but men that are worthy of having biblical homemakers, that's a huge difference. You have men who want a woman who is humble and quiet and kind and supportive, but they will not do anything to support that. You have a lot of the red pill people who will talk about, oh, I want a wife that does this and that is reflective of a homemaker, but I'm still going to go out and talk to other women. I'm still going to go out and dishonor our relationship, disrespect our relationship. No, it goes two ways. You don't, it's back to submission. You don't just submit to any man. You submit to a godly man. You submit to your husband, who should be a godly man if you are a believer. That's how that dynamic works. That's how it should be. And if you're single now, aspiring to be a homemaker, that is the relationship that you should aspire to have. So how do you get there? In the modern day, how you present yourself, again, modesty, how you talk in the workplace. Do you put other people down? Do you speak ill of other people? Do you disrespect other people? Do you gossip? Do you spill tea? Do you gossip it and mask it as spilling tea? That is still wrong. Do you curse? There's so many, I was talking to someone recently, some friends recently, about cursing and women cursing, and it's just so unbecoming. It's indicative of not as vast of a vocabulary. Read more, discover more, learn, increase your vocabulary, increase your repertoire of words, and express your opinions and emotions in that way rather than using curse words or vulgar language. It's unbecoming of a woman. It's off-putting. If you are in a relationship long-term and behind closed walls, you do that, okay, sure. But off the bat, if I'm at the water cooler in the office and someone new I haven't established a relationship with, like a work relationship with, walks by and hears me throwing F-bombs or S-bombs, like, that's off-putting. It looks bad. And I say all this because you're not trying to treat your coworkers as suitors or your coworkers as prospects for a relationship rooted in homemaking one day. But people know people. People have brothers. People have friends, people have cousins, people have church members. They have people that they know in their spheres of influence, in their network, in their connections, who are also single and who may want a homemaker as a wife. And if you present yourselves to these people, you want to separate yourself out from the other women in the sea of women in this world. And part of that is portraying yourself in a way that shows, hey, I have the potential to be a great homemaker. I want to, and when I say homemaker and all of this, I'm saying primary homemaker. I'm saying you can be homemaker and work, but primarily having it as your number one priority and then work. Yeah, I'm talking about women who want to be primary homemakers. That's their primary title, primary position. And that usually comes with being at stay-at-home moms, usually comes with homeschooling. Those are the type of women I'm speaking to. That's the type of life that I aspire to have. And that's when I'm talking about homemaking all that way, I'm talking about all those things together. Homemaker, stay-at-home mom, homeschooling mom, all those things together. And yeah, so you should be portraying yourself in the world to let people know that this is the type of woman that I am. And it goes back to how you speak, how you act, how you treat others. Men are watching you when you're in the coffee shop and they see, okay, that woman looks nice. And she goes up to the barista. They're watching how you speak to the barista. They're watching to how you interact and engage with other people, how you carry yourself, your posture, your attitude, all these things. Men are watching, especially men of good character, godly men who are looking for a high quality homemaker wife. That's how we talk about portraying yourself in the workforce, portraying yourself in the office space if you are pursuing a career. But the second part of that is time. If you're pursuing a career, you're dedicating 40 hours a week to your work. First and foremost, dedicate the 40 hours a week to your work. Have a good work ethic. Have a good character. One day when you stop working and you become a full-time primary homemaker, you will need to carry on that work ethic, that dedication, that drive, the tools. Learn as much as you can in that space. The tools that you learn there, you can carry it over into your home. If you are working with budgets, with enhanced and optimized spreadsheets in Excel, with different project tracking platforms like Monday, whatever you work on in your work, try as much to carry that into your home, to optimize it, to make it more balanced, to help you out so you can be a better support for others. The second part is outside the 40 hours, the rest of the week. What are you doing? What is your 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5? How are you practicing to cultivate a heritage home? How are you preparing to be a homemaker? Who are you talking to? Who are you interacting with? How are you carrying yourself in those ways? What skills are you learning outside of the home? People today don't have hobbies. That is a big thing. When you're looking for a partner to eventually be a homemaker with, find someone who has hobbies. If they have that free time, if they're only working 40 hours a week, what are they feeling with that free time? Are they pursuing another venture? Are they looking into another way to be an entrepreneur? Are they woodworking? Are they going rock climbing? What are they doing to fill their time? Because if they're not doing anything, they're sitting on their butts and they have poor character because they're lazy. And you do not want a lazy partner. That's not good. You could be doing anything. So in your 5 to 9, find a hobby, cultivate that, practice at it, get better in that hobby, pick up an instrument, learn another language, something else. It just makes you more interesting, more well-rounded. When you're in conversations with people in public, it gives you a point of conversation to discuss. What are you doing now? What are you learning? Well, I'm learning this new hobby. Or so take it back to the home, make it relatable to the home. Learn how to quilt, learn how to sew, learn how to repair, learn how to renovate, learn how to do these things that can be applied into your home specifically to tend to it, the physical state and the emotional state of your home. Part of the heart behind the Heritage Home is sharing my journey of preparing for life as a homemaker without being a homemaker. There are so many creators out there that have already gotten to that point, and I'm so happy for them and so blessed that they have chosen to bypass the typical private life of a homemaker and share their experiences online to help young women like me learn from that and aspire to be that as well. I'm just offering the other perspective of I want to be a homemaker, maybe even I definitely want a homestead, maybe on somewhat of a farm or a ranch. But for now, I'm living in a city. Next step will be in the suburbs and then in the rural area. And that may take 20, 30 years. So what am I going to do now? How do I portray myself now? How do I cultivate the life of a heritage home, having a heritage home, being a homemaker in a heritage home, a home that lasts generations? while being single. And that's where I hope, if you're in the same boat, you learned a few things, some little tidbits here about how to pursue a career in the waiting. Let me know in the comments below what you would do differently, how you would pursue a career in the waiting. Would you even pursue a career? Would you just stay home after high school? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this podcast with whoever else you think might be interested, whoever else you know is also aspiring to be a homemaker, a godly, biblical wife and mother one day. And I will talk to you all later. Thanks, y'all. Bye.